to you.
Yeah, good morning, Senna, and good morning to your team and your cherished listeners, particularly to my constituent, the good people about the Teme Central constituency.
Well, and I hope you're well.
By the grace, it could be better.
Before we move on to anything else, I will start by sharing with you a portion of a conversation that the trade minister had with Joy FM, where he's alleging that you in the minority actually stabbed him in the back. Please listen.
Section 13 of the Export and Import Act 1995, Act 503. The second reason provided by the Honorable Minister was that some of the selected products will be restricted to protect the local industries that produce such products. According to the minister, Ghana is overly dependent on important products of which the local industry has the capacity to produce, and this is affecting grossly the confidence of investors who are willing to invest in these selected products. These regulations seek to limit the importation of the selected strategic products and provide a platform for local industries to produce, save, to meet the demands of the population and to compete favorably with their trading partners. Members of the committee made suggestions for amendments to the substantive clauses of the regulations generally. In respect of the affected products, it was decided that cement be deleted from the list of restricted imports and in its place, diapers be inserted. The explanation provided was that cement industry is proposed to be comprehensively regulated under the draft cement industry, the one that I told you about. Furthermore, the ministry proposed that frozen cuts of offals be inserted as item 23 of the on the list. Frozen cuts, okay. Frozen cuts, okay. And then they have another one we call offals. And then he says that we explain that offals are categorized differently from item 2, which is the guts, bladders, and the stomach of animals. Good. Well, the committee, listen to this. The committee demanded that data be provided to it regarding the basis of the minister's justification for the restrictions on the basis that imports are having a negative impact on the country's balance of payments. At the end of the deliberation, the committee concluded that, subject to the proposed amendment, the minister could proceed with the laying of the instrument. And then we go to the other one.
Well, so that is, in fact, is the more extended conversation where he goes ahead to accuse the minority of stabbing him in the back, because he said he agreed to some amendment in order to make the act suitable for both sides of parliament. Once again, Adongo, thank you very much. Are you aware of this back and forth?
Well, I don't know where that meeting took place, and I don't know when that was. But certainly I wasn't part of any such meeting. First of all, there is a procedure for laying allies, legislative instruments, and constitutional instruments as being practiced by Parliament. These instruments are normally considered by the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. Because of the peculiar nature of allies and CIs, said that when they are laid, you just count the days, and that even if there's an error, an error in respect of the substance of the ally, whether it conflicts with other laws, whether you are using the legislation to more or less amend the substantive law, which is not allowed because subsidiary legislation is a lesser legislation and cannot be used to amend a substantive law. Because of all these, if you decide that you have found all these in the ally and you need to stop it, you can only do that by a two-thirds majority. And you know that gaining two-thirds majority in the House would be a tall order. 2, or you go to court and seek the court to set it aside. Which one is easier? To pre-lay, which means you approach the subsidiary legislation committee to which the airline will be referred for consideration, or to let it go through and then go through all these difficult tasks to correct whatever may have been wrong with the airline. Which one is easier? And we're just saying, go to the subsidiary legislation, place the airline before them, let them go through it clause by clause, and be satisfied that that law, when it is finally passed, will serve the interests of Ghanaians better. And you say, no, you are not going there. You want to lay it. It means there's something in there that you don't want to be corrected. You simply want to lay it, then it will go through the 21 days, then it becomes a tug of war. It becomes law. If you want, come and get to test majority when it is late to throw it out. Definitely, he knows that this is a hung parliament, and it will be extremely difficult to get to test majority, particularly when political parties are likely to shape their members in line. So that will be very difficult. Then to go to court, and we know that our courts are already inundated with several cases. Some of them are running for years now, and you're going to join that queue in the court while the law is operating. So clearly, it makes common sense to subject this legislation to some scrutiny. Now, I want to find out from him, what was the basis of such a meeting that he claimed was held with the trade committee? Was it a stakeholder engagement to try and seek the views of members of the committee? And are the members of the committee speaking and sharing their views as members of the committee, or they are sharing their views as members of the minority or the majority? Such that whatever observations they make become conclusively binding on the minority. That is not the case. So clearly, there is something in there that Katie Hammond is so desperate to hide from the people of Ghana. In any case, laws are meant to serve the people. The people are saying there are other stakeholders who have an interest in this. Can you relay so that we have an opportunity to engage these people to see their views, so that in the end, whatever comes out is acceptable, implementation is smooth, and if your objective is to save the people of Ghana some money and to serve us better, of course nobody resists it. Why is he so bent on filing this? Look, this is double standard of this government. Was it not this same government, when it came in 2017, in the name of moving from taxation to production, decided to abolish taxes at the port and open our ports to imports? As a matter of fact, at the time, we said that was policy inconsistency, because you cannot claim to be doing one district, one factory under industrialization, and in one breath, you decide to open your port to imports. They have better reasons to give us for opening up the imports. What is the issue now? What is the problem now? Do we have enough production of these items in our domestic economy? Are we processing enough rice such that if you decide to ban the importation of rice, you would end up getting rice to buy on the domestic market because we are producing and processing enough rice? Is it the case? Or people will end up smuggling these items, and they will be very expensive. And as we know, MPP in their conduct, this is an avenue to once again make the importation of those items available to only their members and their cronies. You can see what happened with Galamsey when they went around collecting people's bulldozers and the rest. What did it happen? They themselves were in there mining gold and destroying our environment. Again, they want to do this so that they will say that, oh, you need to get a permit. And when you go there, it is 2 or 3 people that they give the permit to, and more or less monopolize the market for those items to be imported by only their cronies. We know the game they are trying to play. You remember a few years ago under Kufuor, 2017, when there was a hunger, and Kufuor decided that rice could only be imported through our Takoradi and Tema. The permit was given to one specific company. I don't want to mention the name of the company. That company is even currently out of business. The permit was given to one company, which became the sole importer of rice in our country. Creating a business, more or less, taking away everybody's business and giving it to one person. That is the strategy. Ghanaians will pay highly for it because we know how monopolies behave. So if KT Hammond is minded and his intentions are clear and clean, he should subject that legislative instrument to strict proof. And our subsidiary legislation is mandated with the right expertise to deal with this matter and report to the minority and the majority, so a decision can be taken to ensure that a better and sanitized airline is laid. In the absence of that, he can go from one radio station to the other, crying wolf. They won't help him. Well,
so for the sake of emphasis, you're saying as a member of the trade committee, you were not part of any meeting that discussed...
I'm not part of any meeting that discussed airline, no. Where was it? Where was that meeting held to discuss an airline? I was not part of it. Where? Where was that meeting held? When? And who attended? Unless maybe it was advertised and I didn't see. But I'm very certain that I didn't attend such a meeting.
And secondly, luckily for us, you're a ranking member on the finance committee, and majority of the time, these issues when it comes to import restrictions are sort of protectionist policies to protect the local industry, make them much more competitive with imports. You're saying that you haven't seen anything, any data provided that supports or gives a strong basis for this airline to be passed at this time?
No, I haven't seen anything. But in any case, you are engaging in consultations to come up with an airline to lay. Now, those consultations, even if you did them, does not preclude the subsidiary legislation, the appropriate the subsidiary legislation committee, which is the appropriate committee mandated to deal with subsidiary legislation, the right to look at it again. And so you have said that you've spoken to people, you've met people, and you pick their input. This is the final product. They say, okay, the committee that is mandated to deal with such matters want you to bring it for them to now go through a pre-laying or a winnowing process. You say, no, I want to lay it like that. How is that possible? If you believe that you did a consultation and your consultations led to inputs that you value, why are you afraid that those inputs will not go through appropriate scrutiny? Why? Does the trade committee take away the powers of the subsidiary legislation committee? So put it before them, because they are mandated to look at LI and CI. So if you believe that you've made consultations with the trade committee, of course, that is an industry player. And so you go there as people with oversight over your ministry to make appropriate input. Yes. But that doesn't mean that they are mandated to deal with the bill or the LI when it comes to Parliament. When the LI comes to Parliament, the appropriate committee is a subsidiary legislation committee. And in our wisdom, the subsidiary legislation committee tries to prelay, when we say prelay, to take it through each clause by clause and be certain that it will lead to a good law before you come to lay it. And you are saying that because you have spoken to some other committee, which is not clothed with the power to do subsidiary legislation, you will not allow the appropriate committee to winnow it. What exactly do you think to me? So quite clearly, there is something in there. And we must see that thing for what it is.
I understand your argument, but I seem not to be questioning his authority on Monday to push forward this legislation?
So it's exactly what I said. His mandate is to put it before the subsidiary legislation committee for them to look at it and pass it, and then it will be late. Because once it is late, nothing can be done about it. Not even a dot, not even a comma, not even a full stop can be inserted. Is that what you want?
But yourself, you seem not to be convinced on what this would do for local industry.
Look, these are just a bunch of funny people. Why? Are they not the people hosting the AFTA? Is AFTA not supposed to be for free trade, borderless trade? How can people who are hosting AFTA believe in free trade? In fact, the headquarters for ensuring inter-African trade is sitting right here. And then in the next moment, we are restricting trade. Do we know what we are doing? What message are we sending across? So these people, the policy inconsistencies are just too much. They just don't make sense. The industry players are saying, talk to them. They have consent. Because you are bulldozing your way, they have had to resort to a petition to Parliament. Under normal circumstances, when you are developing a law, the people who will be impacted by the law, the people who will be operating with the law are engaged and their input sought and their in order to refine the law. Clearly, you have not consulted them. So, are you passing the law for yourself or for them? It beats my imagination. And for such an experienced legislator, I mean, I seriously cannot understand what is going on.
And then he puts forth an argument that is in your domain. That's foreign exchange. Now we're spending too much foreign exchange on these imports. And earlier we read that in the better for the economy too, that we need to protect the economy. Because when we have this issues of foreign exchange, the dollar to the CD, where the dollar takes a raise ahead of the CD struggling to catch up, usually our economy suffers. So we need to take control of that. What do you make of that argument?
Was it not the same argument for one district, one factory? So far, what have they exported to bring the import, to bring the foreign currency? When it suits them, they pick and choose explanations. Okay? Was it not the same thing they said when they said they were doing one district, one factory? And that one district, one factory would provide an export-led economy and import substitution so that we can conserve our foreign currency. What has happened to one district, one factory? Now they are now speaking in this tone. So ignore them. It is just about saying something to get what they want. When they said they were going to transform this economy from a Gadgetsburg economy, we are now in a super Gadgetsburg economy. So, how for these people, when they are bent on something, they will find all the reasons to give you. But they do not walk the talk.
But how long can you stand in his way?
Well, as long as reasoning will prevail, we will stand in his way. We are not standing in his way. We are just asking him to follow common sense. Common sense. Go to the subsidiary legislation. Go and make your case. Go and convince them. And they are human beings, and it is a bipartisan committee. So you go there, they look at the national interest, and they look at the clauses that you are providing. Do they conflict with any other laws? Are they consistent with what you want to achieve? What exactly can we do to improve the delivery of the same legislation when it is finally passed into law? How is that difficult? And then you've rather avoided these people, and you are roaming all over radio and TV stations while these people are already in Parliament to meet you. So, what common sense is there? That the people who can help you, you have refused to go to them, but you are appealing to pity in the public domain. Obviously, there's something you are hiding from us.
I know you indicated you have other engagements, but before you go, front page of the Ghanaian Times, minority kicks against 5.5 billion tax waiver for 45 companies. Now, what's happening in this case?
Unfortunately, I have not seen that press statement, so I can't speak to it.
But have you had any tax waivers before your committee to the point of 5.5 billion?
There have been referrals to the committee. We have not considered them, so I'm unable to speak on top of my head which companies are involved. But the important thing is, as a ranking member of the Finance Committee, I am not aware of any press release from our side.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
That's Honorable Isaac Adongo, is member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, ranking member on the Finance Committee, and also a member of the Trade Industry and Tourism Committee, speaking to us on this issue. This Honorable Katie Amon explaining why they need to restrict